Hi everybody, it's Russ. My name is Levin. I haven't done these for a couple of days, so I'm out of practice. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're new channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you made it every time we put new content on. As always, we'd like to thank our channel sponsors, Untuck It. Today's guest, it's taken us a while to connect, but we finally sorted it out. It's Matt Molloy. Hi Matt, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good, Russ. Pretty good. Sort of a bit same old in terms of
It
yeah,
is.
sort of a wake up, horse racing, football, have a drink, and repeat.
But it's even more so in lockdown, isn't it? Because like
Yeah,
that thing in between Christmas and New Year is always, you forget what day it is, and when do the bins go out and things like that. But even more so with lockdown, it's just seemed to heighten it even more because
yeah,
like one day just goes into another, isn't it? It's just like
yeah. I haven't got a clue what day of the week it is. It's
no,
just yeah, yeah.
I'm totally
Every
out of
day.
whack. Yeah, totally. I forgot West Ham are playing like tonight and stuff, and I'm totally out of whack.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's just coming thick and fast. It's just every day.
It's crazy, isn't it? So much football about. I only know
Yeah.
what day it is when the bins go out, and because of obviously Christmas, it's like my bins they go out till Saturday now. So it's like, oh my god,
Don't,
I can't get it.
don't.
Did you have a nice Christmas though, Matt? Best as you can.
Yeah, no, it was good actually. Yeah, we got four teenagers. My eldest one, she's taking a gap year in Germany, so it was a little bit touch and go whether she'd get back, and she was on the last plane out of Cologne.
Oh,
So yeah, that was all a bit sort of hairy. So we set off to
yeah.
Stansted to pick her up, and then someone said, "No, Stansted's in tier 2, and you're in tier 4. You can't pick her up." I said, "So what am I going to do? Just wait in the lay-by and say, Megan, could you walk up to the M11?" But yeah, so I thought, well, we've got a plan of attack. We're going to go in. We're saying we're picking her up to quarantine for 2 weeks, and we're a dedicated support vehicle. But yeah, no one looked at us. We just walked in, picked her up, and brought her home. But yeah, no, it's all a bit crazy, and yeah, so it's just been just good to get us back, good to see the folks, and that was a bit weird dropping off the dinners for them Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Well, we cooked the meat, and so but it was good. It was
Yeah.
good as it could be, I think.
Yeah, exactly. As good as it could be, isn't it? It's one of those things where there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to sort of grin and bear it, don't we? And hopefully
Yeah,
next Christmas will be better.
yeah,
It's like, who knows? Who knows? Who
yeah.
knows?
No, yeah, no, too right, too right.
To think like this time last year, I remember us like it was like all in the like sort of page 2 and 3 of the newspapers. There's this sort of thing going over in China.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like I can remember we normally go away a couple of days after Boxing Day just to
Yeah,
get some sun, and this year we'd chosen not to because the eldest one was going away, and she said, "Well, I want to come home see my mates, and I don't want to be rushing away again." So I said, "Okay, we'll stay at home." So yeah, just as well, really. I guess we'd be cancelling otherwise. Um, but it has been the first time I've been home at New Year's. I was
yeah,
looking forward to going to see some football, which I normally miss and normally have to give up. I mean, lots of family members take the tickets
yeah,
anyway, but I thought, oh, I'll actually get to see some games, and Brighton at home. Know, I thought, oh wow, we're a home game on Boxing Day, or as near as damn it, and yeah, good to
yeah,
see that. And yeah, no, it's just all just
yeah.
strange. But
It
yeah,
is just
I
weird.
got lazy though watching it on the
Mm,
box,
yeah,
um, just popping in and watching it for 2 hours and then carrying on with your life.
I know.
But yeah, um, so it's almost like when if I finally do get a lottery ticket that says I'll come and watch the game, I'm going to be like, oh really? Oh,
Really,
because I can't. Yeah, I
it's
suppose.
rainy.
Yeah, no, it's gonna. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be. That's a half a day gone, or longer, Um, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
it's
bit
all
weird,
very.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you a crowd noise on or off person?
The first time I watched it, I had the
Mm,
crowd noise, like the fake stuff, and
yeah,
I sort of quite enjoyed it, and I thought it was a bit weird to start with,
mm,
because I think I watched was our first game Tottenham away? I can't remember. Or no, that must have been. It was back in the pre last season, wasn't it? But I can't remember. It was an away game, but there was West Ham chanting. So whoever was doing it, I thought that's very good. So there was like some they're sort of trying to tee it up, and there was someone gets fouled. There was like a boo or a. And I thought, oh well, that's quite good. But then I watched it without, and I really enjoyed it. And I've been watching the last couple of years. I've been watching the women's football because my youngest daughter, she plays for the under 14 in the academy, and they encourage you to go and watch the women's games. And that was a bit of a revelation. It was a bit like going to non-league football, really.
Yeah, it is.
And you can hear everyone talking, and you can hear. What surprised me was the referees, how much they interact with the players. And you can hear what they're saying and warning people, like, hang on a minute, let go of it, let go. I'm going to book you. And that was quite interesting. So I've quite enjoyed that and sort of picking up on what the managers are shouting and screaming at players. I think in the last game was, I think someone said, Nevin just said, fucking wake up. just playing a couple of days ago, and it was like, I was saying that as well, really. But
exactly.
So I've now converted to actually listening to just the real sound. Well, it's a bit of a signal. I remember that I watched that Arsenal Wolves game where David Luiz came in and cracked and even the commentators just went, oh, that's a signal. You can hear bone on bone, and that was a little bit like, oh, actually, this is a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So now I've converted to just listen to natural.
Well, I think it's just as entertaining, really, because our bench is like more entertaining than it's ever been since I can last remember. So it's quite funny just listening to them shouting at each other. It's quite good.
Yeah, no, that was good. And who's it got the? Did someone get a booking for? Suggesting the Grealish would. Yeah, Grealish. Yeah, that was. That was. I spoke to a Villa fan a couple of weeks before Christmas, and I mentioned that, and he's one of those irritating players, isn't he, Grealish, where he's going to play for the foul, but he's also very, very good.
Yeah.
But it's I thought that was quite entertaining, like you say.
It is entertaining, and we've got quite a noisy bench, so that's why, particularly away games, I always like listening to the crowd noise off. Although the other day, like a few weeks ago, when we could have fans in, I got really confused because I think it was Super Sunday, and I think there was 3 London games, and I kept on flicking it over to try and get the crowd noise off, and I forgot there was 2,000 people in there. So
yes,
shut them up! I couldn't shut them up.
No, that's all a bit weird, trying to work out who's in tier whatever. And so I think is it the Scousers have got game? I think Scousers
they're the
got
only
fans
ones.
at the minute.
I think they're the only ones who've got fans now.
I
think.
I know the South Coast had it for a while. But it's all a bit all very strange.
It is at the moment. It is strange, but at least it's football, and at least we're 10th, and considering the last few seasons we've had, 10th, positive goal difference, 21 points, whatever it is. I'll take that all day long. All day long.
I mean, it's incredible, really. After you think in the first 6 or 7 fixtures we had, you thought it was big trouble time. But I think I suppose maybe we've benefited from not being in Europe. I think it seems that all those teams that were having a midweek and a weekend have suffered. You'll take it. But I think we've said it before. It was almost like poison chalice. If sort of a team like us, if we are going to make Europe, then it's just like, and we've seen it with when we sort of got in those Europa spots. It was we struggled really. It's almost like a blessing in disguise. We say that every time we go out of the cup, don't we?
Yeah,
we concentrate
exactly. Hopefully, we don't say that the weekend.
No, exactly.
Stockport, but
that's the thing. Stockport. Oh, that's one of my favourite away games. Was Ian Dowie's fantastic own
was you there?
goals. Yeah. Yeah, one of those. That was one of those classic sort of away days. I decided to take a shortcut through Snakes Pass, and there was a fog descended, and it was pissing down with rain. But yeah, one of those sort of everything. Yeah, just you couldn't make it up. But yeah,
No.
fond memories. Yeah, in that end where Dowie scored. Yeah, it was his best header I've seen him score in a West Ham shirt, I think.
I reckon when that draw happened, I reckon Ian Dowie's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Because literally, it's sort of like
he's gonna be on the commentary team, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's going to be replayed all the time in the next few days and the lead up to it. And he thought it's just died down, and then it's all back up again. It's back on YouTube and stuff. But yeah, no, it's strange times. As you said, it is a bit of a poison challenge, isn't it? I mean, the amount of times, last sort of few times when we got into Europe, and then we never really sort of got past the qualifiers, did we? We just didn't bother, and it's like, well, make your mind up. But I think that's the same with everyone, like Burnleys and people like that in this world. If they got into Europe, it's the same thing, isn't it?
And maybe Wolves are starting to see that as well. I mean, I know that the sort of this incredible statistic of how many games so many of their players had played. I think they're starting to, suffer now.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where unless you're top, the top tier, so to speak, then Europe's not really your thing. It's like, I'm happy to finish 8th and get to a semi-final of a cup. That'll do me. Typical West Ham.
But you need, I think to be competitive, you need 2 sort of first 11s, don't you? Really, and the budget to be able to pay people that amount of money and then keep them happy, knowing that they'll get a game a week.
Very true.
Yeah, it might not be the Premier League, but it'll be in the Champions League or whatever. It's just
What a shame. You can't play the Premier League, you play the Champions League. Shucks. Shucks.
Exactly.
I know, and that's the trouble. But I mean, as I think, I think next couple, I'm happy. I've interviewed some guys the other day. We were talking about the Allardyce years, and obviously he's starting to work his magic, it seems, at West Brom. But I think we need a couple of them years now. Do you know what I mean? Just like like 8th to 12th, just stay there for a bit, and then build on. It didn't, because I think we need to consolidate a little bit at the moment. And I think that's why I think Moyes is the man. I think he's the man for the job, because I think that's what he's quite good at.
It's interesting. I like the work ethic. And I think, I like the fact that he's not afraid to, no matter what the price tag, it's like, sorry, if you don't run, you're not playing. I quite like that.
I do.
And I mean, sometimes you question things. It's like, when I saw the lineup for Brighton, it was like, oh, that's a bit uninspiring. But then you think, well, if you were the manager and you said, well, you've got to put another team out in 2 days and another team out 2 days after that, what, do you think you can win this game with that team? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like you say,
I agree.
The comfort of 21 points at this stage of the season. So,
I'll take that. No, exactly. And I think what I like about him is what I like about Moyes is he's honest. So he sort of came out and sort of basically said that maybe he got his selection wrong against Brighton to start off, which is fair enough, because he did. He did. But he changed it up, and that's what I like. I've been talking to some guys about the other day, actually. That's what I like about our team now. It's like where it used to be, we'd have a pretty set 11 and like one person, but it'd be like for like substitution, so it might be one person. I was the same type of person. What I liked, obviously, the Brighton game was he brought on Yama and he brought on Lanzini, and then because of those two, it changed. The whole team changed. And so it's almost like a plan B, and that's what I like. We've got that option now.
Yeah, and he did that. I can't remember which game it was where it was either 2 or 3 substitutions. Half time, and and it was just like actually it needed it, and it had an effect. So. Which because I think you got a lot of stick for making a substitution at 82 minutes or whatever it was each game. It's I think what with Pearce and Nolan and these the other fellas, I don't really know. They've just got that sort of with bosses. guys.
Yeah.
And no matter how much money you're earning,
Exactly.
if you don't work, then you're not going to be in my team. So I
Exactly.
think most West Ham fans, I think, yeah, sure, that's what I want. Really.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. That's what we want. And I think we've with that backroom staff, I wouldn't want to be underperforming at half time going into that changing room. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think that's a bad thing, having the fear of God being struck into you, going in and having to listen to Stuart Pearce and Moisey and Alan Irvine and Nolan and all them lot just screaming at you at half time. But it's very it's like, I can't remember the last time that there was it's a definite, as you said, a workman-like ethos to the team. Probably the last time was Big Sam, I'd suggest.
Yeah, and I thought he was the right man for the job to get us promoted, and I just sort of had some fond memories. I still cannot help but smile when Jose Mourinho, when he was at Chelsea and got the ump because he parked the bus and we got a point. And I'm thinking, well, do you know what? He outdone you, and it was just like just sitting there. I can just remember that post-match interview, and he was just wetting himself. And he's got that sort of mischief about him. But I mean, it wasn't most attractive, but I think he did the job really, and at least he had a bit of time to sort of move on from there.
Exactly, he was effective, and I think that's what you've got with Moisey. You've got like just seems to be something he's building something. As long as you give him time to build what he's trying to build.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And I suppose we sometimes forget actually how many of the players are his players. I know that there was sort of some players, I guess, from before, but he's inherited a team, and he's got. But he's got them performing, and those, the two Czech lads, they're just, a revelation, really. And that's, it's just great to see, again, and they think, well, it's just good. They seem to just bed in really well.
Yeah, they just seem to naturally just fit into the ethos that he's trying to bring in. And as you said, it's like, he seemed to have a good bunch there, and obviously Souček, and then it's given Rice more sort of license to be a better player than he has been before. He's already a bloody good player, but he just seems to have upped his game a bit more this year already. So we'll see what happens. But it's like, every game I go in quietly confident. Do you know what I mean? I think we can give anyone a game now.
I think I've been confident. I'm not confident today, which means we'll have a great result. So that's a good thing.
Well, this will go out afterwards. So this will go out tomorrow. So we won't say anything about the game just in case. Right. Brilliant. Anyway, first question, Matt. He says, 18 minutes into the interview is why are you a West Ham fan? What's why have you chosen? Why has West Ham chosen you?
It's quite. I was trying to work out the dates.
And
I can't work out. I know why and the how, but I can't remember the dates. It must have been. So I was born in 1969, and I'm thinking when I was 8, I was football mad. I don't remember much before that, but I was born. My dad's Irish, and he moved to London. So he moved to Camden. So I was born in Camden. My mum's from Kentish Town. So they're all sort of Arsenal territory. And we moved out to Southgate, or New Southgate, so North London again, Arsenal territory. And at that time, I think the Arsenal team was basically like the Irish national team. So my dad supported Arsenal, and that was. But I was West Ham. I just knew that I was West Ham, and so I don't remember the 1975 Cup final. I don't remember it as much as I remember 1980.
Of course.
But I knew that by the time I was 8, I was West Ham, and the reason for that was there was a couple of lads 2 years older than me, and one of them's dad was from Leighton, and they lived in Southgate, and they were friends. Both their parents were friends with my parents, and it was a case of, okay, on Saturday we're going to the football. Do you want to come? And so it was. And again, I can't remember exactly, other than it was I had to bring a crate to stand on type scenario. So I think that must have been about 9, 10-ish age. But yes, we just started going to West Ham. And it was always every home game we watched West Ham. And when West Ham were playing away, we used to go to the Speedway at Hackney. And it was, so 1 week was football, 1 week was Speedway. So that was it. And the guy, he's no longer with us, Pat Adams, bless him. But yeah, and he had so his boy was 2 years younger. He had another boy who was 2 years older, and he had a boy who was a year younger than me. They both went to school, not in the same class, and we were the four of us, other lad as well. We were all the West Ham fans in North London, and so everyone. I can remember everyone saying, "Oh yeah, West Ham were our second team," because they were like pretty to watch and all the rest of it. And then my I've got two memories I think of really stick in my mind. One was going to the game, and I think it was in the old West Ham, standing up, but where the old screen was, and not being able to see much, but enjoying it. And then the other memory was 1980 Cup final day. So I'm sitting out. We lived near the North Circular. If you know the North Circular, if you come through sort of Palmer's Green and round towards there's sort of dog legs left.
There's always traffic. There's always traffic, and there's an exterminator on the corner with he has a big he has like pest of the week. He wishes to put a different carry. So I I remember very well.
So our house at the time was just there. I remember we were all sitting there. We sit on the grass. All the West Ham fans were streaming around to Wembley. And we had we watched it. I didn't go, but remember watching it on the telly. But we had our flags, and we were all dressed up, and the old Admiral kit with the like the little Admiral stickers down, and I remember that as a sort of what a great day to be in North London as a West Ham fan. It was just one of those special days. So I think in terms of timeline, it must have been a couple of years before then that was it. I remember being a West Ham fan, and it was through Adams, and it was just three or four of us who were the odd ones out. Everyone else was really they were Tottenham or Arsenal, and it was that was it. Sort of grew up with it that way, really.
Brilliant.
And that was it. You just don't tame your team. Although my brother, I'll have to shame him. He was his godfather christened him or gave him a Tottenham kit, and he changed to Arsenal, which was even more. When he was about 5 or 6, I disowned him after that. I said, really? I mean, I think I prefer you to be an Arsenal or Tottenham fan, but it's not something you do. I'm sorry. It's just like, he said, I didn't choose it. I said, well, yeah, maybe I didn't choose it, but there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad to say that all four of my kids are West Ham fans. So, and just and I didn't impose that on them. It's just after a break we started going again, and now there's only two of them. We three of us got tickets. It's my youngest one. I don't know how much longer she'll be able to go now because she's starting to play at weekends. But the eldest lad who's 16 and she's 13, but she's the one who's mad. She was the one who says, I want to go early to watch them warming up. And I thought, well, this is a bit odd. The lads are a bit like, the 15-year-old now, just like, yeah, whatever. I don't really want to go, Dad. Do you mind that? I said, well, the discount's running out on those £99 tickets, so I don't mind not going now. So he went, and the eldest one, she wasn't really quite into it. She was into other things. So it's quite nice going with the two of them. Well, I can't remember the last game we went to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, seems a long time ago, weren't it? But that's just it. And you got obviously the women's team as well, and obviously, I mean, we live in Hornchurch, so we're only like around the corner as well. So, but it's great fun. Love it. I love going. And, as you said, it's almost like it's old school football, isn't it? You can put your arms on the terrace and lean over and chat with.
I mean, it's. I mean, sometimes it can be full on if the men are playing 3 o'clock, which is very odd. But if the men are playing 3 o'clock on Saturday and the women are playing 2 o'clock on the Sunday, and it's home, and then she's got a game as well, and on the same day, and it's just like the weekend. I mean, it's great, don't get me wrong. I love the football, but it's like I'd almost like it alternating, so they weren't playing. But I do enjoy it, and I enjoyed, especially when the Matt Beard character there, because he's got colourful commentary style, and his interaction with the referees was quite amusing. But yeah, and I did enjoy it, and I enjoyed the skill level, to be fair, because it did surprise me. I mean, I suppose I had a little bit of an insight to it when Georgia started playing. She's a goalkeeper, but when she's good with her feet, or she footballers have to be. But you don't know, because she was playing with the boys' team. But then when she started playing with the academy, and there's basically 16 girls, 12, 13-year-old girls, or a couple of years ago now, and all of them are like really skillful players. And that was a shock, because I guess we grow up, when we grew up, it was just like girls didn't play football, whereas it's different now. And it's and I actually love going to watch the academy now, which is actually the only live football I get to see when they do play, although they're off again because of the tier 4. But yeah, no, it's quite good. They're playing. They're playing boys teams to start with, but this year, the first time they're all in a girls' league. And but yeah, the first game that was cancelled, which I was really looking forward to, was West Ham Millwall away on a Saturday morning. And normally I wouldn't go to Millwall away, just because I'm a little bit wary. But I thought under 14 academy girls, it should be okay.
Well, it's like, was it the Football Factory or one of them where they have that big punch up, and it was West Ham Millwall, basically under 12 kids.
Yeah. So I was actually looking forward to going to Millwall away until the latest tier 4. So yeah, but I've got that to look forward to, I guess, at some point, because I think they will. Yeah. So yeah. But they're starting to play some teams that you recognise. And so that's quite. Yeah, it's quite. Being a West Ham fan, and I think a lot of the parents are as well. So it's quite nice to, it's you love your kids anyway, but it just adds a sort of, your heart gets a little bit bigger when it's your team, So, but
makes perfect sense. Now, we had Kate on here before. Kate Longhurst, she came on a while ago.
She's
brilliant fun, isn't she?
She's an absolute diamond. Her old man's hilarious as well. Sir Jeff, I think, as he's known on Twitter. And I sort of seen a couple of things that he said, and it was interesting. I bumped into him after the West Ham Man City Cup final. We were walking back through Wembley Way, and I sort of chatted and made an introduction. And it was just chatting to him and Kate's mum. Actually, they were saying what girls' football is like now to compare when it was when Kate was trying to make it, and it's almost it's come at towards the end of Kate's career, I guess. But yeah, I mean the whole sort of following her up and down the country, going to watch her play, and it's great. I mean, it's great. You're proud of them, but I say it must be quite difficult when it's your daughter out there and somebody giving them a bit of their mind as what they think about a particular. Their work rate or whatever, but you can't fault that with Kate.
No, not with Kate. It's like the sort of the little Mark Noble-esque type. There's one thing you cannot question is, obviously, he's had a few knockers after the Brighton game and the Chelsea game, but the one thing people can't knock is his commitment, and he'll play. Whatever happens, he'll play 20, 100%.
Yeah, no, and I think and I think it gets, you see, some of those players are getting towards, age catches up with all of us a bit, and so, and ultimately they're sort of, you can see that progression, if you like, and the whole. I think it's still, he's obviously still got a big role to play. I think in terms of bringing people on and just that voice of reason, and the fact that, I mean. I don't know any other player. I can't think of anybody who's sort of been a one club player and stuck with it. That's good. And I think, what was a couple of years ago when he was spraying passes around. That one for Antonio at the White Hart Lane for the first game that they lost.
Yeah.
And that pass over, you're just like he was really playing some great football then. And now I think the team it did look a bit unbalanced, but we sort of settled into with Souček and Rice there and the others around him, and I suppose it's trying to find a role for him. But yeah, I mean, I guess he's not going to be he's not getting as many minutes as he has done, but he doesn't. That doesn't seem to affect him. It seems to just yeah.
No, I think he's a realist as well. I think he's a very honest man, as we know, and I think he knows that the team arguably are more balanced when he's not in there from a starting lineup position.
Yeah.
His role is clearly going to be 2-1 up, 20 minutes to go. He comes on and just takes off Bowen and just sits in that middle. And
it reminds me actually. It sort of made me smile because he reminds me of one of the players I've picked for the first 11. You're always going to come on and get a yellow card now. So
okay, there we go. All right, okay, let's move on to 11 then, Matt. Right, so as I said, everyone we have on the channel puts their 11 together. Now it's not necessarily the best 11. It could be the favourite, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But it's your 11, and the only rule is you have to be alive to see them play. Only so we get different players. Otherwise, we'd all put Bobby Moore in and because they were the greatest players to play, but we never saw them play. So that's basically what we do.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because I didn't have, not even on my first. I've got my list, and I sort of wrote it down. I didn't have Bobby Moore there because, again, it wasn't a player that I was familiar with. I think when I started to watch, he would have gone to Fulham. I think by then, late 70s, I guess. Yeah. So he wasn't my West Ham player. So all of the players that I've got a sort of affection towards them. I forgot about my goalkeeper because originally I was going to go. I'm not allowed to mention. Am I allowed to mention a name and then say, "But I've lumped for somebody else"? Because originally I was going to go Mervyn because he was my first goalkeeper I remembered seeing. I couldn't see much up at the other end because I was a little short ass. I just said, "Who's that over there?" There's sort of this Mervyn Day character in the old green and white shorts. So I thought he was there in my third, but then I thought, oh no, it's Ludo, it's Ludek Mikoshko because of the song, and a lot of the players I've got, there's a song connection there, and Ludo. I just thought, well, actually, he was in my because I was taken, and then I started to go on my own from about sort of. Once the lads are a couple of years older than me, when they left school at 16, then I started to go from about 15 on my own. And my old man had a butcher shop in not far from Old Street, but he used to finish at 1 o'clock on a Saturday. And I'd finish at 1 o'clock and then jump on the train and I'd go and watch. And I always get there for 3 o'clock. And so I went for a few years and then stopped going. And then I'm just trying to work it out. I think by the time I was 18, I wasn't going. So I was probably going for 2 or 3 years on my own. So that was so 80. So I don't really remember the 86 glory year other than sort of following it. So I was sort of going to the few games. But then I started going again in 93. And that was on the basis I went to work for a firm who were based in Essex. And every Monday morning was talking about football, and I think they had a corporate box as well, which was really annoying because sometimes I get a call at 1 o'clock to say, "Put a suit and tie on. We want you to go in the box because somebody's dropped out," and I'll be like, "Oh, really? I really don't want to go." But I started to go in 93, and I think that was the sort of Ludo years.
Yeah.
And so he was the song, and it still goes on, and away days now, and the old, Ludek Mikoshko comes from near Moscow. It's just just one of those classics. So he's my number one. And then going through the back four, I think it's probably all the sort of the 80s era. I think I got Ray Stewart, just because I think he was that one player. Every time he got a penalty, you knew he got a goal.
Yeah.
It was just that bullet of a shot. So yeah, he's my. I think he was a right back.
Yeah.
Not sure if I have to get in the right position, but he's there. And then in the middle, Alvin Martin and Billy Bonds in the defence really, and Alvin Martin mainly because I remember when he was losing his. But I'm not sure he had a huge amount of pace anyway. But I think towards the end of his career, his timing was impeccable. I just remember that if a ball was coming and there was a forward in front of him, he just nudged the forward at the right time and he had the ball. And it was just that I thought he's still got it. He hasn't got the pace necessarily. But yeah, and he was just that sort of one of those. And I think was he a one-team player? I don't know. I know he came to West Ham early.
I think he went to Southend. I've got a feeling, or something like that, at the end of his career for a swan song. But pretty much he was a one man team.
Yeah. So sort of fond memories of him, and then Billy Bonds, just because I just thought, and actually, and Billy Bonds, just one of those guys who, again, sort of, although I think he came through from Charlton, he just was Mr. West Ham, and that sort of guy who you'd want to be looking out for you. And I think that some stories you hear from some of the other players, it's just like, well, yeah, he was there. He'd sort of bleed for you, and I felt, when he was manager, it was great. I don't quite know the story with him sort of moving on, but probably my fondest memory was when they renamed the stand at the London Stadium, and I must admit I got a bit dusty and a bit misty. I must have got a bit of stuff in my eye when he came over, and you could see. I think he might have got a little bit of the stuff in his eye as well.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh, what a lovely gesture, and what a lovely man. And so again, that 1980 glory, our last glory moment, perhaps. But so he's in there, and a similar, probably a connection with Billy Bonds, but also a connection with Ludek Mikoszko, my left back. I think Frank Lampard Senior was left back, but he is now. And just that Ellen Road song, when the ball comes over and Frank fills over and scores the winning goal, we actually sang this Christmas Day. My 13-year-old says, "Daddy, is that the actual words?" I said, "Well, there might have been another word for before he scored the winning goal, but again, one of those. He looked frightening, but really quiet, humble, sort of placid man. I think when I heard him speak, and so Frank and I see, although obviously the Frank Lampard Jr. hasn't got the same sort of connection with the fans, and I think I still enjoy. I've got a soft spot for Junior, but I still love the 10 men go to Chelsea or whatever the song is. 10 men went to lift Frank Lampard, and I've done some lovely sort of days singing all the way down at Stamford Bridge, which is but I think the way Junior conducts himself as a manager is quite impressive, and I think the dad has left his mark there. And he's he's got a football brain, and although he didn't perhaps have the same sort of connection with fans as Senior, I think you can see that there's the lessons have been passed on, and I think so. And the same with another few who aren't in the team, the Joe Coles, the Carricks, the Ferdinands. I've still got soft spots for them. They're not in my teams because they didn't play for long enough, but I still like to see them do well.
Totally. And it was Orient. It was Orient Alvin Martin went to, not Southend.
Okay. Well, that's quite nice. Yeah, that's quite nice.
I could have probably guessed that. You could have probably guessed that, to be honest. It's literally like, you're still, Orne Church, not that far to Orient. But
No, I've got a friend of mine who follows Orient, and I think they non? I know they went non-league for a bit.
No, they're back up. Because that's, I mean, when you used to do Orient, West Ham and Speedway, that's what I used to do with Orient.
Yeah,
so it's West
a lot
Ham
of people put in the Orient. Yeah. £16
£10 is the season ticket. So yeah, it was at the time.
Yeah,
But
no,
it was have to say that, otherwise someone would mention it in the comments. So it was Leighton Orient, don't worry.
Yeah, moving on to the midfield.
Yep.
And again, some of these, it's as much as what I've seen since they've retired, and their online presence, and they're also the way they publicly express their affection for West Ham. So I've got Ian Bishop, who and I used to love just sort of a flair player who'd, not the biggest. And then a few actually, another two, the next two are similar, not the biggest, but they had something about them, and you'd think that they play the West Ham way. And now seeing sort of Bishop on social media, he's quite vocal, and I know he's got a soft spot for Man City because he was there as well. But it's just good fun. It makes me smile, sort of fella. And he looked like he'd be good on a night out.
Yes.
And imagine at that time with that team that was around him, they'd watch out Romford after West Ham had played. and then moving on to my next one, and this is the one when I talked about Mark Noble now coming on as a substitute and getting a yellow card. It's John Kerr.
Yeah,
because he always would get a card, and again one of those. Again, a skillful player.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had a kit like quite small enough for him, because he was always sort of like hanging. He's always had his shorts and his shirt were like sort of down to his ankles almost. But a great player. But then towards the end, you always knew he was going to put in the challenge. And I can remember the amount of times it'd come on. We go, okay, how long we give it? 3 minutes, 4 minutes? Yeah, okay. Yeah. 5 minutes, it's a yellow card, and that was it. First tackle, we got a yellow, and it was just that sort of, and it wasn't malicious. It was just that sort of committedness that we'd put in the book at a time where I guess now he wouldn't have lasted very long at all. But fond memories of him. And then my flair player of the 80s team really was Alan Devonshire, who, and I know Brooking was the one who got most of the plaudits, and he went on and sort of played for England, and don't get me wrong, he was just one of those, again, Mr. West Ham, one team player, but Devonshire was my favourite at the time, because I think I don't know, it was that sort of dribbling sort of runs that he'd come in off the left, and I think Brooking was a little bit more a bit like Rice in some ways, it was no nonsense, but it was effective, whereas Devonshire had that sort of little bit more of a sort of a flashiness about him, I guess. And so Devonshire was in there above Trevor Brooking, perhaps. Well, definitely for me. And then the next one was my second sort of, when I really got back into football after sort of 5 or 6 years out, was Paolo Di Canio. And I can't, I've probably two things stick out for me with him. Well, maybe more than that, but it was never really a dull moment with Di Canio. I mean, that goal against Wimbledon was when Sinclair knocked it over. I mean, that was, remember at the time, it was just like, oh wow, what I've seen. But I was at Old Trafford for the 1-0 FA Cup Barthez moment, and that for me was just that. And again, the whole song's "Let's all do a Barthez, let's all do a Barthez," but your hand up the offside. And it's just, again, like every time if someone says Di Canio, it's just Barthez. That's all I can think of. It's just that other players would have stopped and fallen for it, and he'd dribble around him and put it in the net. And other things, the whole when he got a booking for simulating pushing over the ref after somebody scored. Yeah, it was just fond memories of that. And then post West Ham, he talks about his love of the club, and I know there was talk about him because he had a brief spell as a manager somewhere. I think there were some rumours going around, and he probably would have been a bit of a popular with the fans. Not sure how effective. But yeah. So I think for him, for me, he was sort of one of those flair players. And I suppose some of the players sort of since then, you think, well, they could have become that. I mean, it's a shame with the free kick specialist, who I couldn't put him in just because he wasn't here long enough. And I've forgotten his name, bloody gone from me. But I mean, and again, a great song until other clubs started nicking it. But it was just like, but that was great fun. And it reminded me a little bit of it's like if Ray Stewart gets a penalty, or we get a penalty, Ray Stewart's going to score. It was just like, if we get a free kick 25 yards out, we know that he's going to test the keeper up, and probably 7 times out of 10 it's going to find the back of the net. And it's a shame he didn't stay longer. I did bump into the team was staying at a hotel in Manchester for a Burnley away game shortly before Slaven Bilic and his team were moved on, and I managed to catch. I was too shy, but my mate said, no. Well, this guy's fault. You go and have a chat. So I did actually have 5 or 10 minutes chatting with Slaven and his team, having a cheeky fag and a coffee out in the sort of the bar area, and they were saying about how happy he was in that first year when he first came to London. But you got a sense that something was happening. Maybe he was having too much of a good time. And so maybe people at home were not happy about the stories that were coming back. I don't know, but yeah. The cameo, and then going up front, and I suppose the obvious choices would have been Cotti and McAvenny, but again, because it was in that sort of 86, 87 period where I wasn't really going, they weren't my forwards. And the two I put in for different reasons. One was David Cross, just because I thought he looked cool and hard. And it was just, and I sort of think, if I was like there, I think, well, if I had Frank Lampard, Billy Bonds, and David Cross looking after me, I know that I wouldn't have any problems at all. There'd be and again, I've seen a few things again on social media, sort of more recently. And he posted up some of the memorabilia of some of his caps that he's got for the 1980 Cup final and all that sort of thing. And it's just like, actually, that he seems like a good
top
good
guy.
fella.
He's a lovely bloke. Although a bit about David Cross is he never, for some reason, he never keeps my number in his phone. So when I text him to say Merry Christmas, he goes, "Oh, thank you. Who's this from?" Because I put a West Ham thing. It could be from anyone. I guess from. He calls me Raspberry Russ because when I interviewed him, my wife brought in a 99 like ice cream, like from the ice cream man, and then she came back and he went, "Oh, you should get raspberry sauce in that, Russ." So he calls me Raspberry Russ, and I was like, "Oh, well, it's a 99 because you scored 99 league goals for West Ham." But I didn't mean to. But so he always calls it. But he's as you said on Twitter, he's brilliant.
And I think that I've had a chance to speak to some of those players who, they're not going to be able to retire and not work again.
No,
fellas from that era, and it's just it's just I mean, I suppose there's an element of the what ifs, but it must be what's sort of going through their minds in terms of thinking, well, these players now who maybe they're on the bench, but even if they're playing, probably when they retire at 30, 31, 32, they may not have to work again. because the money's there. And I don't begrudge that, but I think it must be hard for those players who, they get a testimonial, they buy a pub or whatever, and that was their business moving forward. And I guess he must be at that sort of, he's a sort of I'd imagine he comes across as a genuine fella you'd see in the village and say, "Oh yeah, what do you do?" So I used to play football. And
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and then my last one, and again it's a song related one. It's Carlton Cole, for my forward, and again it's sort of one of those where I don't really remember him as a player that much, other than a couple of things that really struck me with him. And I might be wrong on my facts, but I think he was either Chelsea let him go.
Yes,
and it was the fact that, and I think I was reading some stuff about how the coaching staff, and I think it might have been Gianfranco Zola, it might have been, who really worked with him to develop his skills. And he came on, and I think he was a lot better player than people gave him credit for when he first came to us. And he just seems to be one of those grafters who actually scored some fantastic goals. And you could see it on his face. Again, that sort of, that he's one of your players who, and now when I've seen, he's been in the crowd on away games, him and Ginger Pele, giving it, getting vocal. And I think he was at the weekend when he was, I think it was he on a panel, or he was, did he play again? No. I'm sorry, I'm getting muddled up with somebody else. But it's just that sort of West Ham fan type feel you get about him.
I know what you mean.
And the song, obviously.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So that sort of connection. So that's my 11, and it's been really good fun. It's like really good fun doing it, and so I think there's a strong sort of 80s team bias, but that's because
there's a generation. It's a generation thing. There's the 80s and there's the 90s, and then there's sort of the updated version with Colton really in there, and I think there's no, it's good. No, I like it. It's a different team, Matt. I like it, man. It's good. It's good fun.
Yeah.
No, it is good. It is quite cathartic, isn't it? Going through it and just sort of going back through your childhood and your West Ham days and go, I forgot about him. Oh, he's a good player. Oh, he was a good player. But no, it's people can do 6 or 7 11s off the just because it's so much. It's good, man.
Yeah. I think it's like you say. I like that the rule that you've seen play. And there's a sort of connection, and I think that's probably why. It's obviously why the sort of Bobby Moore, that sort of the World Cup winners are not in my team, because it was really before my involvement, and because of the McAvenny Cotty, I was sort of following it, but I wasn't on the terraces there, and it's whereas the sort of a lot of the players that I've named are sort of people I've seen, and I say that I think the players you go out there and just bleed claret and blue, really.
Yeah, that's all we ask, really. That's all we ask for West Ham fans, to be honest. But anyway, Matt, it's been lovely. Thank you for chatting. It's been great fun. Really, really enjoyed it. And
cheers, Russ. Yeah, no, it's great. Sorry for so long it took me to get back to you.
Oh, don't be silly. It's all right, doesn't matter. And thank you to everyone for watching as well, or listening on whether it's podcast on Spotify. Anyway, take care, everyone. Stay safe, wash those hands, come on you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Much love.